Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever picked up a poem and felt, I don't know, a little lost?
Uh-huh.
Like it was speaking some secret language, maybe? Or like an academic puzzle only scholars could solve?
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that.
Maybe you just wanted to know what it was really about or, why it made you feel a certain way, but it just felt walled off.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how often that initial feeling, that intimidation, it sort of masks a deeper, really universal connection.
Right.
Poetry, at its heart, it isn't just about clever words. It's about distilling these incredibly complex human experiences, emotions, ideas, whole worlds into something potent, something evocative that really resonates.
Absolutely. And that's precisely what we're diving into today. Our mission in this deep dive is to kind of pull back that curtain.
Hmm.
We're drawing heavily from Sanka Lewis's An Introduction to Poetry Theory. And this isn't some dusty old textbook. It's a guide specifically designed to demystify poetry for pretty much anyone, whether you're a total beginner or just want to deepen your appreciation.
And Lewis, well, he's been teaching university English poetry for nearly 2 decades. So this book grew right out of his teaching notes.
Oh, okay. Practical stuff then.
Very practical. It's a fantastic resource because it clearly explains everything, from a poem's emotional tone and hidden meanings, right through to its rhythmic music, its structure,
Using good examples.
using timeless examples, yeah. Poets like William Blake, Wordsworth, Keats, the greats.
Okay, good. And by the end of this deep dive, the idea is that you'll gain the confidence not just to read poetry, but to genuinely analyze it, interpret it, pretty much any poem you encounter. Our mission today is to give you that shortcut,
Yeah.
to being truly well-informed, arming you with the tools to confidently approach any verse. So, with that in mind, what is poetry? Where do we even start?
It's a tricky question, actually, because poetry has been incredibly versatile throughout history. I mean, think about it. Before written language was common,
Fair.
poetry was the ultimate medium for oral history, for storytelling, remembering genealogies, even recording laws.
That's right. It wasn't just decoration. It served as like a fundamental form of worship too, right?
Right.
Prayer, song.
Exactly. And crucially, it was, and it still is, this profound way to express the ineffable.
The ineffable.
Those deep feelings of joy, sorrow, love, or just the sheer breathtaking beauty of nature. Things that are hard to capture in everyday words.
And it's not always about beauty either, is it? Poetry's been a really powerful, sharp way to critique politics, society, to challenge norms.
Definitely. What's fascinating is just the sheer range. You've got epic poems stretching thousands of lines, like whole books, and then you have things like a Japanese haiku or a Korean seijo, just 3 short lines.
Wow. So, yeah, how do you define that?
Well, that incredible variety makes a single, simple definition almost impossible.
It's like trying to catch smoke, isn't it? I remember Samuel Taylor Coleridge tried to pin it down. He said, prose, words in their best order, poetry, the best words in the best order.
Which is elegant.
It is elegant, but it still leaves a lot to the imagination, right?
Precisely. It highlights that qualitative aspect, that almost gut feeling you get. It's a bit like, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart's famous line about obscenity.
Oh, yeah.
I know it when I see it. You could almost say the same for poetry. There's an essence there that sort of transcends rigid definition.
I love that. So, okay, if we strip it down, at its core, poetry is a literary art form. It uses language creatively to evoke meanings beyond the literal, sometimes even instead of the literal.
It's what we call aesthetically dense.
Aesthetically dense, meaning
Meaning it packs a lot of artistic power into relatively few words. Poets do this through carefully chosen figures of speech, other poetic devices, and what we call prosody, which is basically the musicality of the words.
And that musicality, that sound, is absolutely fundamental.
It is. At its core, poetry is about connection. It's like a direct line between the poet and the reader, between ideas and emotions, abstract and concrete.
So it's an invitation.
It's an invitation, exactly, to see the ordinary as extraordinary, to find the universal and the personal, and just to engage with language on a deeper, more nuanced level than we usually do.
Now, let's be honest, though. A lot of people feel intimidated by poetry. Maybe they hit a tough poem in school and thought, nope, too hard, or there's only one right answer and I'll never get it.
That's a common feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the good news. Most poems don't have a single locked-away interpretation.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, some of the best, most enduring poetry is open to different readings, often very personal ones.
Okay, so my reading isn't necessarily wrong.
Not at all. As long as you can provide a sensible, text-supported motivation for your interpretation, it carries value. Think about it. The art that lasts, that resonates across generations, it does so because it invites multiple perspectives. So don't fear poetry. Be open to letting it speak to you personally.
That's really freeing, actually. So where's a good place to start? How do you get your foot in the door?
A fantastic way to begin, honestly, is by identifying its tone.
The tone. Okay.
This is simply the emotional mood a poem conveys. Even if you don't grasp every single word right away, you'll likely pick up on the feeling. Is it angry, joyful, melancholy, celebratory?
And everything contributes to that.
Everything. The word choices, diction, the sounds, rhythms, rhyme, figures of speech, schemes, it all works together to create that emotional atmosphere. It's often one of the easiest things to feel first.
Okay, tone first. Then what?
Then you can start to differentiate between the topic and the theme.
Topic versus theme.
Right. The topic is the specific, obvious subject. Like William Blake's The Sick Rose is literally about a sick rose.
Okay.
His poem London is about the city of London. Often the title gives you a big clue.
Gotcha. Specific subject. And a quick tip here, like try summarizing the poem in one sentence, like a précis.
Yes, exactly. That helps nail down the main idea, the specific topic.
So then the theme is deeper.
It's where it gets richer, yeah. While the topic is specific, the themes are more implicit, general, universal. It's the central message, the underlying concept, the deeper truth the poet's exploring through that specific topic.
Oh, okay.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, themes are how a poem goes beyond its specific subject to speak to these universal human experiences.
So the sick rose isn't just about a sick rose.
Exactly. It might reveal insights about society or innocence or corruption, making the personal universal. Themes are like the poet whispering timeless truths through specific moments.
That's powerful. And there are common themes that pop up again and again, right? Like love.
Oh, absolutely. Love and desire are probably the most prevalent. Every kind, erotic, platonic, filial, divine love. It's all there.
What else?
You frequently see themes of loneliness, loss, grief, often stemming from personal tragedy, leading to specific forms like elegies or requiems, and then relationships, bonds, family, friends, heritage, loyalty. But also the flip side, broken bonds, betrayal.
Change seems like a big one, too. Growth, mortality.
Huge themes. Birth, transformation, aging, the cycle of life and death. And linked to that, remembrance, meaning, spirituality, the quest for significance, hope, despair, faith.
And what about society? Freedom, justice.
Definitely. Think of Blake's famous line about mind-forged manacles in London. It's not just societal oppression, but self-imposed limits, too.
Wow.
Self-discovery and identity are massive as well, from the ancient know thyself to modern explorations of gender, sexuality, the subconscious.
And wisdom, experience, truth.
Poets often explore those, yeah. But maybe leaning more into intuition, creativity, the vulnerability of personal experience rather than just abstract philosophy.
And nature, that must be huge.
Incredibly common, second maybe only to love. The beauty of nature, humanity's place in it, but also increasingly technology, especially since the Industrial Revolution and now with AI.
Right.
We're seeing more poems grappling with what it means to be human in a technological age.
So a poem can have multiple themes layered in there.
Oh, absolutely. Most complex poems do. And when you identify them, it's best to phrase them as complete statements, not just single words.
So not just nature and joy.
Right. Instead, say something like, the central theme of Wordsworth's I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud is the profound joy and inspiration derived from nature's beauty. It gives it substance.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about motifs? How do they fit in?
Motifs are like clues the poet leaves for you. If the themes aren't immediately obvious or even after you find them, look for motifs. A motif is a recurring idea, a specific word, or its synonym, an image, a sign, something that repeats.
To reinforce the theme.
Exactly, to reinforce the themes and help unlock the poem. For instance, back to Wordsworth's Daffodil poem.
I wandered lonely as a cloud, yeah.
Once you see the theme is joy, you start noticing he uses 5 different synonyms for joy. Glee, gay, jocund, bliss, pleasure.
He really hammers it home.
He does. And he also uses the image of dancing repeatedly. The daffodils dance, the waves dance, and by the end, the speaker's heart dances too. That repetition makes the feeling of joy inescapable. It's a clear motif.
Got it. Okay, another key thing, the speaker. It's not always the poet talking, right?
Absolutely not. It's easy to assume the I in a poem is the poet, but often it's what we call a persona.
Persona, a Latin for mask.
Exactly. The persona is the character, the voice created by the poet to speak the poem. It could be fictional, historical, and alter ego.
Why do that?
It allows poets to explore diverse thoughts, themes, perspectives that might not be their own personal views. A really vivid example is Robert Browning's My Last Duchess.
Oh, the creepy Duke.
A very creepy Duke of Ferrari, yeah. He implies he had his wife killed. That speaker is clearly not Browning himself. It lets Browning explore themes of power, jealousy, art from a chilling, specific viewpoint.
Okay, so we've got tone, topic, theme, motifs, speaker. Now, how do we actually approach reading a poem effectively? Because you said it's not like reading a novel.
Right. It's more like a puzzle that reveals itself slowly over multiple readings.
Multiple readings are key then.
Definitely. And there's a systematic approach that can really help. Your superpower, you could say.
Ooh, okay. What is it?
First, just look at the poem visually. Scan it. Shape, line length, stanzas, punctuation, dashes, periods. They give you clues about the flow before you even read a word.
So a pre-reading Stan.
Kind of, yeah. Then, first reading, read it aloud, slowly. Don't stress about understanding everything yet. Just let the sounds, the rhythms wash over you. What's your gut feeling, your emotional response?
Okay, read aloud, feel the vibe. Second reading.
Second reading, get practical. Circle words you don't know, look them up. Underline phrases that jump out at you that seem striking or important.
Active reading. Got it.
Third reading, a la again. This time, focus on the literal meaning. What's actually being described? What images? Who's speaking? To whom? Take notes in the margins, questions, observations.
Okay, and a fourth reading. Are we still going?
We are. Fourth reading, look for connections. Patterns. How do different parts relate? Are there contradictions, repetitions? And always, always consider the title. How does it connect? It's often a key.
Wow, okay. That's a process. Any general tips?
Yeah, a few big ones. Remember, poetry is meant to be heard, even silently.
Yeah.
Hear it in your head.
Right.
Line breaks are intentional. Pause slightly. Punctuation matters, grammar and rhythm. Context helps history, the poet's life. Don't rush to judgment. Let it sink in. Keep a journal, maybe. And trust your instincts. As long as you can back it up with the text, your insights are valid.
This raises an important point you touched on. If poetry isn't just a riddle to solve, what is it?
It's an experience to be shared, I think. An invitation to engage with language more deeply.
And a key part of that is diction, right? Word choice.
Absolutely crucial. Diction is the poet's incredibly deliberate choice of words. Every single word counts.
Why? What are they thinking about?
Oh, everything. Literal meaning, sure, but also sound qualities, connotations, the feelings evoked, etymology, formality, is it high-flown language or casual? Cultural associations, multiple meanings, even how the word looks on the page.
Wow. So back to Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud.
Exactly. Imagine if he wrote, I walked by myself like a cloud.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Not at all. Wandered suggests aimlessness, contemplation. Lonely has that emotional weight, melancholy. Much more than just by myself. Those choices create mood, voice, context, everything.
And that distinction between what a word literally says and what it suggests, that brings us to literal versus figurative meaning.
Yeah, precisely. Literal meaning is just what the words state directly. But poetry often pushes beyond that. If a line says, the sky opens like a cracked egg, well, skies don't literally crack.
Right. Impossible.
That impossibility is the poet's signal. Look deeper. Look for the figurative meaning.
So what could cracked egg sky mean?
Maybe dawn, with yellow sunlight spilling out. Or a sudden storm breaking open. The beauty is, it can suggest multiple things.
Like Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers.
Perfect example. She's not saying hope is a bird literally. She's using the bird's qualities, lightness, song, resilience, flight, to make an abstract concept like hope feel concrete, real, resonant.
But some poems are more literal, like William Carlos Williams's Red Wheelbarrow.
That one plays with the tension, yeah. It's very literal. Red wheelbarrow, rainwater, white chickens. But the way it's presented, that intense focus, so much depends upon. It pushes us towards figurative readings. What deeper meaning does this simple scene hold?
So figurative language isn't trying to hide the truth.
Quite the opposite. It reveals truth through unexpected connections. It makes us see things in a new way.
And to understand those layers, we need to think about denotation and connotation.
Yes. Denotation is simple. The dictionary definition. Red is the color red.
Okay.
Connotation is the cloud of associations, the implied meanings, the feelings. Red can connote love, passion, danger, courage, depending entirely on the context. That's where the emotional layering comes in.
Which leads us nicely into signs and semiotics.
Right. A sign is basically anything, a color, an image, an object that stands for something else. It carries meaning beyond its literal form.
Like your example of a bitten apple.
Exactly. Literal apple, sure. Or apple ink. Or temptation, Snow White. It signifies possible meanings.
And the theorist Charles Sanders Peirce had categories for these?
He did. 3 main modes.
Mm-hmm.
Icons signify by resemblance. A picture of an apple looks like an apple.
Okay.
Indexes point through connection footprints mean someone walked there. Smoke means fire.
Gotcha.
And symbols have meanings we have to learn, often culturally specific national flags, letters of the alphabet.
Their meaning isn't obvious just by looking.
Right. And similes and metaphors, which we'll get to more, are special kinds of literary signs. And here's the cool part. As the reader, you are the interpretant.
The interpretant.
Yeah. You bring your knowledge, your experiences to the signs in the poem. You actively co-create the meaning through your interpretation.
Okay, let's try applying this. Blake's The Sick Rose. Short, famous.
Good one. Topic. A sick rose being destroyed by an invisible worm.
Right. So connotations, rose, could be love, beauty, a woman. England, maybe, the Tudor rose.
All plausible. And worm. Parasitism, death, decay.
Yeah.
Maybe something phallic. Or a serpent, especially since it's invisible and flying, like in Eden.
Okay, so putting those together, what interpretations emerge?
Well, you could have a spiritual reading. The rose is innocence. The worm is satanic corruption, sin.
Makes sense. What else?
A sexual reading. The rose is female purity. The worm is illicit desire, seduction hinted at by the bed of crimson joy, and dark secret love.
Ooh, okay. Intriguing.
And a socio-political one.
Oh.
The rose is England. The worm is corruption in society or politics. Yeah. The howling storm may be hinting at revolutionary chaos. Crimson suggesting violence.
Wow. So multiple readings can exist side by side.
Absolutely, as long as they're motivated by the text, by those connotations and signs.
So what does this all mean for your reading for the listener? It means you're invited into the creative process. Poetry isn't math, one right answer. It's an aesthetic exploration. You read into it, find what resonates, back it up with clues.
And poets are brilliant at leaving those clues, using their toolkit. Tropes and schemes.
Tropes and schemes. Okay, break those down.
Think of them as the poet's techniques. Tropes, more commonly called figures of speech, manipulate the meaning of words non-literally. They enhance emotion, aesthetics.
Like metaphors.
Exactly. Schemes, on the other hand, focus on the arrangement of words, sound patterns, syntax, word order. They sculpt the sound and flow.
Got it. Meaning versus arrangement. So tropes first, simile and metaphor, the big one.
The most common, yeah. Simile compares using like or as. The sun is like an orange. Simple comparison.
Right.
Metaphor takes it further. States one thing as another. The sun is an orange. No like or as. It forces a stronger connection. Makes you see them as fused.
And they have parts. Tenor and vehicle.
They do. The tenor is the subject being described, the sun. The vehicle is the object used to describe it, the orange. Helps break down complex ones.
Okay. Then personification, giving human treats to non-humans.
Yes, a type of metaphor. Blake's flower that shuts its sweet eyes, Wordsworth's dancing daffodils. Flowers don't have eyes or dance, but personifying them brings them alive, makes them relatable.
What about synecdoche and metonymy? They sound complicated.
They work by association, but they're simpler than they sound. Synecdoche is part for whole, heart for a person. Give me a hand for help. South Africa won for the team.
Okay, part for whole. And metonymy.
Metonymy is using a closely related thing. Heart for love. The crown for the monarch. Soul for the South Korean government. It's a kind of shorthand.
And antonomasia is a type of that, like the bard for Shakespeare.
Exactly. Or the king of pop for Michael Jackson. Yeah. Or saying he's a real Einstein, using a title or epithet instead of the name.
Got it. Apostrophe. Talking to things.
Talking directly to someone or something you wouldn't normally address. Someone dead, an object, an abstract idea, like Wordsworth talking to Milton or Blake talking to the rose. It creates a sense of direct engagement.
And idioms, like break the ice.
Fixed expressions, yeah. Figurative meaning isn't obvious from the literal words. You have to learn them. Lots come from Shakespeare, actually.
Huh. What about puns, wordplay?
Puns, or paronomasia, exploiting multiple meanings or homophones, like Shakespeare's Son of York playing on Sun Sun. Often funny, like, I wondered why the ball was getting bigger, then it hit me.
Huh. Okay. Zeugma. That's an odd word.
It's clever. One governing word applies to two different things, often literally and figuratively. Harry lost his keys in his mind. Lost works differently for keys in mind. Witty and efficient.
Irony. That seems important.
Very. It's when words are used differently than expected, creating surprise. 3 main types.
Okay.
Verbal irony. Words don't match reality. That celebrity is as friendly as a tiger. Clearly not friendly.
Right.
Dramatic irony. Audience knows something a character doesn't. Creates suspense.
And situational irony.
Outcome is opposite of expectation. Fire station burns down. Coleridge is water, water everywhere. Nor any drop to drink, surrounded by unusable water. Heightens the feeling.
Is sarcasm just irony?
It's a type of verbal irony, but specifically with negative, mocking intent. Fabulous hairstyle when it's awful. The purpose is to wound or ridicule.
But satire uses irony for a different reason.
Yes. Satire uses irony, sarcasm, etc. for constructive social criticism. Think Swift's Gulliver's Travels. The goal is insight, maybe improvement, not just hurting someone.
Okay. And allegory, like fables.
Exactly. A narrative with a clear moral lesson where characters or events personify abstract ideas. The ant and the grasshopper responsibility versus laziness. Simple, direct message.
Phew. Okay, that's a lot of figures of meaning. Now, schemes focusing on arrangement and sound.
Right, and what's fascinating here is how poets craft the poem's feel through the physics of sound itself, using phonemes' individual sounds.
Like size can be soft or sinister.
Exactly, tiny building blocks of emotion. And some sounds, phonetic intensive, seem to carry inherent meaning, like M for mother across languages, or soul suggesting smooth or wet things.
Wow. So poets are tuning into these sounds.
Consciously or unconsciously, yes. Creating euphony, beautiful, harmonious sounds, or cacophony, harsh, unpleasant sounds.
Cacophony can be deliberate.
Oh, yeah. For negative topics, Shelley's England in 1819 uses guttural sounds to create a jarring, discordant feeling, matching the poem's critique.
Okay, and sound repetition, assonance, consonance.
Assonance is repeating the same vowel sound. Keats, no, do got onto Leith. Consonance is repeating consonant sounds like Shelley's harsh sounds in that poem.
And alliteration is a type of consonance.
Yes, specifically repetition at the beginning of words or stressed syllables. Peter Piper picked a peck. Makes words jump out.
What are ideophones?
Words that evoke ideas or sensations through their sound, imitating what they describe. Onomatopoeia, sizzle, is the most common.
But there are others.
Yeah, kinetic ones for movement, swoosh, zigzag, emotive, wow, ouch. Tactile, squishy, crunchy, adds a real sensory layer.
Okay, schemes involving repetition of words or structure. Anaphora.
Repetition at the beginning of successive lines clauses. Blake's in every cry, in every infant's cry, in every voice, builds a powerful cumulative effect.
And epistrophe is the opposite. Endings.
Exactly. Repetition at the end of lines clauses. Blake does this too. And parallelism is broader, repeating similar grammatical structures or meanings, not necessarily successively give a man a fish, etc.
Antimetaboly. That sounds tricky.
It's just repeating a statement in reverse order. JFK. Ask not what your country can do for you. Creates a memorable echo. Chiasmus is similar. Ideas repeated in reverse. Crisscross pattern. Milton. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. Makes you ponder the mirrored ideas.
Anastrophe. Changing word order.
Altered grammar for emphasis. Blake's The Mind-Forged Manacles, I hear, puts the key image first.
Asyndeton and polysyndeton. Playing with and.
Basically, asyndeton omits conjunctions, friends, Romans, countrymen, creates a rush feel. Polysyndeton adds extra conjunctions, and the tree toad, and the running blackberry. Slows things down, builds accumulation.
Rhetorical questions. No answer expected.
Right. Asked to provoke thought, rouse the reader. Blake's Little Lamb Who Made Thee, not expecting the lamb to talk back.
Overstatement hyperbole and understatement meiosis.
Hyperbole is extreme exaggeration. Wordsworth's never-ending line of daffodils. Meiosis is downplaying. Mercutio's lethal wound being a scratch, can be humorous or deeply poignant.
And finally, antithesis, oxymoron, paradox. All about contrast.
Yes. Antithesis juxtaposes contrasting ideas in balanced phrases. From low to high, and sink from high to low. Oxymoron puts contradictory terms side by side. Bittersweet, open secret. Romeo uses tons of brawling love or loving hate.
And paradox seems contradictory but reveals truth.
Exactly. Wordsworth is the child is father of the man. Sounds impossible but reveals how childhood shapes adulthood, how adults can learn from children. A deeper truth hidden in contradiction.
Okay, amazing toolkit. Now let's talk musicality, prosody, rhythm, and rhyme.
Yes, this is what gives poetry its song, and why it really needs to be spoken aloud. It's auditory art. It all starts with stressed and unstressed syllables and words, and how they alternate to create rhythm.
And punctuation affects rhythm too. Pauses.
Absolutely. A long pause within a line is a caesura. When a sentence ends right at the line break, that's an end-stopped line. Creates finality.
And if it keeps going.
That's a run-on line or enjambment. The sentence flows over the line break without a pause, creating momentum, linking ideas.
We can analyze these rhythms with scansion.
We can. If the rhythm falls into a recognizable repeating pattern, that's metrical verse. Think traditional poems, songs, rap. If there's no regular pattern, it's free verse.
And the pattern itself is meter, made of feet.
Exactly. Meter is the recognizable rhythm, and a foot is the single repeating unit of that rhythm.
What are the common feet?
The I am, da-da-dum, troshi, da-dum, garden, anapace, da-da-dum, understand, dactyl, da-da-dum, maestri, and spondi, danum, heartbeat.
And we count the feet per line.
Right. Monometer 1, demeter 2, trimeter 3, tetrameter 4, pentameter 5. Very common. That's Shakespeare's usual hexameter 6, and so on.
So Blake's London, you mentioned iambic tetrameter?
Mostly, yes. First 3 lines of the stanzas are typically 4 iambs, da-dum, 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 da-dum. But then that last line often shifts, maybe to trochaic, diadem, diadem, flipping the rhythm for emphasis. Poets play with this constantly.
Okay. Moving from rhythm to rhyme.
Words rhyme when they share the same final sounds, and rhyme is at the end of lines, obviously, like Byron's denial trial.
Can rhyme happen inside a line?
Yes, that's internal rhyme. Byron's dares, shares in the same line, adds subtle music.
What about different types of rhyme? Perfect, imperfect.
Perfect rhyme is exact same final vowel and consonant sounds. Identical rhyme is just repeating the same word. Imperfect rhyme, also called half, near, or slant rhyme, is close but not exact, like love, prove. Adds complexity.
And I rhyme. Looks like it should rhyme.
Right, because of spelling, but doesn't quite when spoken. Love, move, maybe.
Masculine versus feminine rhyme.
Masculine rhyme is on single stressed syllables. Spain, plain, strong, definite. Feminine rhyme involves multiple syllables, stress not on the last, danger, avenger, softer trailing effects sometimes.
And the pattern of rhymes is the rhyme scheme. A-A-B-B, A-B-B.
Exactly. Coupled rhyme, A-B-B, is consecutive lines rhyming, like Blake's the Tiger. Alternating rhyme, A-B-B, is non-consecutive, like another Blake poem. Enclosed rhyme, A-B-B, has one pair inside another, like in a Keats sonnet.
Okay, so we've got the tools, the sounds, now the bigger picture, forms and types of poetry.
Right. Poetry exists on a spectrum. At one end, free verse informal, no strict rules. At the other, fixed form, a formal verse, following specific rules like sonnets or haikus.
So free verse first, no rules. Does that mean anything goes?
Not quite. It doesn't have formal meter or rhyme schemes, but it absolutely still has structure and musicality. Poets create organic rhythms using natural speech, line breaks, repetition, sound patterns.
It's just not a preset pattern.
Exactly. Walt Whitman, with Song of Myself, is seen as the father of English free verse. His work shows how it captures natural cadences, but still has intense poetic power.
How do you read it well?
Pay close attention to line breaks, where the poet pauses you, tells you a lot about emphasis and pacing. Listen for natural speech rhythms. Notice sound patterns, white space, how the structure supports the meaning.
What about blank verse? Sounds like free verse, but isn't.
It's different. Blank verse is specifically unrhymed iambic pentameter.
Ah, the Shakespeare rhythm.
Exactly. 10 syllables, dadium, dadium. Yeah. Like Hamlet's to be or not to be. It sounds close to natural English speech, so it's great for drama and narrative.
Okay, and poems are built from stanzas, groups of lines.
Right. Name by line count. Couplet 2, tercet 3, quatrain 4, sesta 6, octet 8.
And specific forms have specific stanzas, like haiku.
Yes, haikus at tercet, 5-7, 5 syllables, usually about nature, a moment of insight. The Korean seijo is also a tercet, but longer lines, more intellectual maybe.
But the most famous form is probably the sonnet.
Definitely the most famous closed form in English. 14 lines. Key feature is the volta, the turn.
The turn.
Yeah, a shift in thought or argument. Often moves from problem question to resolution commentary. Usually happens between the octave and sestet in Italian sonnets, or near the final couplet in Shakespearean ones.
And there are different types, Italian, Shakespearean.
Main ones are Italian, Petrarchan, an octave 8 lines rhyming abba, then a sestet 6 lines with various rhymes, and English Shakespearean 3 quatrains, A, B, F, C, D, C, D, E, F, F, followed by a rhyming couplet, G, G. The volta often hits in that final couplet. Shakespeare's Sonnet 18, Shelley compare thee, is the classic example.
Okay, now, big categories. Types of poetry. Narrative.
Narrative poetry tells stories. Epics are the huge ones, long, heroic, gods involved. Homer's Iliad, Milton's Paradise Lost.
Dramatic poetry, like plays.
Yes, long passages for theater. Shakespeare's plays are full of it. And ballads are shorter narratives, often sung, often with refrains. Tennyson's The Lady of Shalott.
And lyrical poetry, that's the most common now.
By far. Usually shorter, personal, emotional, melodic. expressing the speaker's feelings or thoughts. The name lyric comes from the Greek lyre, that musical link.
What kinds of lyrical poems are there?
Odes, praise, hymns, religious praise, laments, grief, dirges, short laments, elegies, formal laments for the dead, occasional poems for specific events.
And ekphrastic poetry? That's about art.
Yes, an ode about a work of visual art, describing it, responding to it. Keats's Ode on a Grecian Urn is the famous one, a conversation between art forms.
And song lyrics, we encounter poetry there all the time.
Absolutely. They use metaphor, imagery, rhythm, rhyme. Bob Dylan winning the Nobel Prize for Literature really cemented that connection.
So the line is blurry.
Very blurry. And it reminds us poetry is fundamentally auditory, meant to be heard, sung.
Which connects to spoken word.
Definitely. A huge revival of oral poetry. Spoken word includes readings, slams, rap, focuses on performance, the sound, the phone aesthetics.
And confessional poetry. Very personal.
Mid-20th century genre, yeah. Deeply personal, autobiographical, raw, unfiltered. Poets confessing intimate details. Important still to distinguish speaker-poet, even if they overlap heavily.
And rapping hip-hop, you see that as poetry.
Absolutely. One of the most vital contemporary forms. Incredibly intricate internal rhymes, assonance, consonants, mastery of meter and flow rhythm and rhyme, complex, powerful storytelling and commentary.
So performance matters.
Hugely. Volume, pace, pitch, emphasis, pauses, body language.
Oh.
All crucial for bringing any poetry aloud to life.
And technology is changing things too, digital poetry.
It really is, expanding what's possible, making it more accessible. Social media poets use platforms like Instagram for micropoems, Insta Poetry Short, shareable verses.
Can it be interactive?
Yes, that's where it gets really interesting. Hyperlinks, animation, sound, reader participation, challenging traditional ideas of what a poem even is.
What about visual forms? Concrete poetry.
Where the shape matters as much as the words. Calligrams arrange words into an image, a love poem in a heart shape. Concrete poems are often readable calligrams. Visual poetry pushes it further. Letters as pure visual art. The shape is meaning.
And found poetry, using existing texts.
Like literary collage, yeah.
Yeah.
Rearranging words from newspapers, manuals. Blackout poetry, blacking out words.
Yeah.
Cutting and pasting. Cento, lines from other poems. The art is in the selection and recombination.
Prose poetry seems like a contradiction.
It blurs the lines beautifully. Looks like prose paragraphs, no line breaks, but uses intense poetic language. Metaphor, imagery, condensation. Proves poetry is about the language, not just the line breaks.
Okay, we have all these tools, forms, types. How do we put it all together to analyze a poem? Explication.
Exactly. Well, you can just enjoy a poem. Deep analysis explication reveals so much more, especially with great poems over rereading. It's a detailed explanation using all this theory.
Is there a method, like those questions you mentioned?
Yeah, Arpin Johnson's list is great. Questions guiding you. What's the topic? Tone, structure, diction, imagery, figures of speech, symbols, paradoxes, illusions. How does sound and rhythm work? It's a toolkit for digging deep.
And how would you structure that analysis, like an essay?
Pretty much. Intro, poem, author, context, summary, main themes, body paragraphs. Could go stanza by stanza or focus on specific devices, imagery, sound, tropes, conclusion. Pull it together, motivate your interpretation, offer a personal evaluation.
This raises a good question. Why does all this analysis matter? Isn't it enough to just feel it?
Feeling it is crucial. But knowledge is most valuable when understood and applied. These tools empower you, not just to read poetry, but to enter into a dialogue with it, to uncover meanings that resonate personally, to appreciate the artistry.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? You've just gained this powerful toolkit, right? A set of lenses to approach any poem. Not as some scary mystery, but as an open invitation, a conversation waiting to happen.
Indeed. From figuring out the emotional tone to dissecting deeper meanings through signs, rhythms, forms, you now have the insights to engage with language on a much richer level. It opens up worlds.
So consider this. If poetry really is an auditory art form, best experienced when spoken or sung, then maybe the greatest act of interpretation isn't just reading silently, but lending your own voice to the verse. What new depths might you unlock when you bring a poem to life through sound, when you become the music?
Keep reading. Keep reading. Maybe even try writing some yourself. It's an adventure.
Yeah.
One that promises joy, reflection, wonder, and a deeper connection to language and to ourselves.